To all my basketball fans, the moment is finally here. I've been ducking this for the last couple of days, but I'm going to finally face my demons and hop on this microphone and talk about my Duke Blue Devils. It was a dream that turned into a nightmare. A really, really, really fast and quick nightmare towards the end of that game. But before we get into all that, I just want to thank you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you for the recent support on the channel. If you guys enjoy my content and if you're going to enjoy this video and continue to enjoy laughing at me over my problems that I have about my team, continue to hit that like button on the video and subscribe to the channel. So let's just get to the nitty gritty. First, I just want to open up by giving kudos to Houston. As you guys are seeing this video today, they actually did lose in a national championship game last night. So the Florida Gators did end up winning the Natty. Kudos to them. Kudos to the coach. He was young. He was one of the youngest coach to win the national championship since Jimmy Vitaro. Is it Jimmy Vitaro? I don't remember the guy's name. He was the old it was the old coach for NC State. It was Jimmy V. I think that was his name. But we're not going to get that deep into that. That's far off topic. Saturday night, y'all know me. I had Duke as heavy favorites in that game. I was worried to begin with because I knew Houston had a great defense. I haven't watched Houston all year, to be fair. But everybody said they got a defense. And I kept them at their word. And I was like, okay, it's going to be a tight defensive game. But I thought Duke would have the offense. And I thought Houston, which I was right to a certain degree, they can't score that well. So I thought really that Duke did have the upper hand, inevitably. But the first quarter goes by. And they play well. We're up. And Coop's going good. Everybody's doing their job, playing their role. It got chippy early. I want to say that Houston got like 5 offensive rebounds in the first couple minutes of the game. So Duke settled down. They got to their offense. They matched the intensity defensively. Specifically, I posted it on Facebook. Caleb Foster and Malik Brown was playing great defense. So going after the first half and seeing how Duke started and what inevitably ended up happening going into halftime, I was like, man, you're feeling good. You're feeling great. And then doomsday happens. So you get down to, I don't remember exactly what time it was during the game. And Mason Gillis gets a technical foul called on him. And they shoot the free throws, and it was all downhill from there. At that point, I want to say we were up 59-45. And I have the tweet here. Duke led by 14 with 8 minutes left, which was, I want to guess that was when the technical foul occurred. Duke led by 9 with 2 minutes left. Duke led by 6 with 34 seconds left. Duke led by 3 with 25 seconds left, and Duke led by 1 with 19 seconds left. Houston went on a 25-8 run. It was bad. Well, 25-9 run in the last 8 minutes of the game. Even when Sharp came down and we were up 6 at that point with 30 seconds left and he hit that 3, I looked over to my parents and said, we're fine. All we have to do is inbound the basketball. They got the value because they're down 3 and they're going to have what? The shot clock's 30 seconds, so guess what? If they run that defensive possession and you run the clock all the way down, they're not even going to have time to get off a good shot. So they're going to have to foul you. And guess what happens? They turn the ball over, and then they score. 1 second. The guy, the Howard guy, who's a 6-year senior, grown man who needs to have his own LinkedIn profile, but that's another subject for another day. He goes up there, hits both his free throws, so we're down 1. And Cooper Flag goes down, gets a good look. It's his shot he's been making all year, and he just misses. I know a lot of people's going to sit here and blame the referees for some of the calls that they made, especially the call that they were trying to question that people wanted to call bogus, where Cooper Flag got called for trying to tap the ball and Howard was in front of him. Whatever. The game should have never got to that point. Duke had an all-time choke job. Duke was essentially scoreless for 7 minutes. 7. It is unfathomable. I literally, when there was 7 minutes left, I was sitting there like, oh yeah, we got this. The way we were playing, the way we were executing, the way we started to play defense, and then after that technical foul by Mason Gillis, it was all downhill from there. I will never be able to understand it. And I know what it is. Youth. From the coach's perspective and the player's perspective. You had a team full of freshmen. Knepp was a freshman. Cooper Flag's a freshman. Malawak's a freshman, even though he did play in the Olympics against LeBron James and company. And that's in your start lineup. And you got a coach that's in his 3rd year. And this is where I get to Jon Scheyer. Jon Scheyer didn't set them up to win. He really didn't. And that's not a knock on Jon Scheyer. I think Jon Scheyer has done a great job all season. He done a phenomenal job rotating guys out, putting guys in position to play, even though I did question some of his decision-making against big teams in the beginning of the season when we played Auburn and Arizona and all those other, Kentucky and those teams that we lost to in the beginning of the season. And I was worried about that when it came to facing good teams because, let's be honest, Duke didn't have competition all year. And when we got to this game, it showed. Because every time this season, they've probably only done it one time, and it was probably against Arizona and Auburn. But that was Auburn was at home at Duke. But when it's a neutral site, which is what happened earlier in the season against Kentucky, when it's crunch time, they always fell short. And they did the other night, Saturday night. I saw it coming from my way because Jon Scheyer really, again, he's done a great job. Also, he just doesn't know how to adapt in late game situations. He doesn't put it. I don't understand. You're up 3. You call multiple timeouts, not even multiple timeouts. You got a extra possession because Houston got called for a technical because the player was dumb enough to touch the ball on the inbound. You almost even got 5 seconds there. So you had 2 extra timeouts, essentially. You couldn't draw up a better press break than that. All you did was run an off-ball screen up mid-court and hope and pray. That's not going to work against a Houston defense. You should have ran a savvy play like Florida did where everybody lines up out of bounds, 5-4 wide, and it's basically a football play. But John didn't do that, and he just didn't set up his players to play great, and they started to play hero ball. They really did, and I already knew what they were going to do. They were going to try and give the ball to Cooper Flag and say, Cooper Flag, go win me the game. You didn't even give an extra pass, didn't do nothing on the final possession. I can't be totally mad, though, because that's Cooper Flag's shot. That's the shot that he's had all season. You're down 1. Just try and get an open look. Is that hard? Was that very hard to do against that defense? Yes. But, man, when I tell you guys, I was legit, no joke, y'all. I was about to cry tears once that game was over. I've never been part of all my years watching sports and watching my favorite teams. Y'all know I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm used to this, especially when it comes to playoffs. But just something about this team is you never know when it comes to college basketball if a team's going to win. Because winning a national championship is very hard. It is up there with winning the Super Bowl. Winning the NBA Finals is 10 times easier. Winning the World Series is 10 times easier. Winning a national championship and the Super Bowl are up there. And national championship is under the Super Bowl. That's how hard it is to win that trophy. With a team that's young and with a coach that is in his 3rd year coaching, He's still going to adapt, and he's going to continue to get better. He only will. But this team was special, man. I went to go see them in person, and I was telling my buddies, I'm like, man, just seeing this team, seeing how they play together, just knowing you got to see them in action, and you could tell your kids you saw your favorite team, the Duke Blue Devils, and you saw them when they won the national championship that year. That was all in my brain. Just watching how much I loved watching Cooper Flagg play. Easily one of my favorite Duke players that has ever wore that jersey. Watching just the team all together. It was a special team. I know we've had some great teams the last couple years. We've had Filipowski, had Jerry McCain last year. You still had Jeremy Roach, Proctor, Zion, RJ Barrett, Paulo Banchero, Trevor Keels. The list goes on and on. Mark Williams. We've had some great ball players. But something about this team was special. And I really did think that they were going to just take it all. It was an even matchup. I just felt like offensively we were going to be able to outmatch them. And that was the story of the game for, 32 minutes. The last 8, it just come following down, just crumbling like a Christmas cookie. It's a dream that turned into a nightmare. And there's no other way you can put it. There's no other way to state it. It's hard. It's hard. When I first was dealing with it, I did want to cry, but when you really think about it, it's hard. I don't want to kill Jon Scheyer too much. Getting into the national championship's hard. We went to the Elite 8 last year. I think possibly we were in the Elite 8 the year before too, or the Sweet 16. I can't remember. I want to say it was Sweet 16 because I think we lost to Tennessee in the Sweet 16. But he's going to continue to get better. When he's getting put in these situations, that's really what we're going to talk about. Jon Scheyer didn't set him up to win, but we're going to talk about the future of Duke in this point. He's going to continue to coach better. He's going to continue to get experience. Coach K, one of the greatest basketball coaches, and will forever be one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. It wasn't all flowers and rainbows and unicorns in his first couple years of coaching. It's going to come with time. Jon Scheyer's obviously got a better bat at the apple, given that Coach K, he's inheriting a great team compared to what Coach K had to endure. But Jon Scheyer is going to continue to get better. He recruits very well. You can tell that he's able to galvanize the guys. He's a likable coach. I think he gets along very well with the kids. And essentially, he's going to be better prepared for these situations because I really don't see a situation where a Coach K-led team would have collapsed like that. I really don't. Coach K would have easily found a play to get some guys open, just stop the bleeding. That's what Jon Scheyer just needs to learn, how to stop the bleeding, and against good teams. Now he's done it against okay, mediocre teams. We saw it in the tournament and we saw it earlier in the season. But when it becomes to thin competition and you know it's going to be a tight game, you just got to know how to stop the bleeding and how to better manage the game and set your team up offensively to be able to set themselves up to win. But and as far as Cooper Flagg, would I love to see Cooper Flagg come back? Absolutely. Would I love to see Kneppel back? Malawak? Absolutely. Sion James, I enjoyed him so much. Mason Gillis as well. Malik Brown, all the transfers that we got in. Great moves by Jon Scheyer. Exceptional basketball players. They were really the reason why they were, as far as coming off the bench and even Sion James getting into a starting role, them transfer guys were really the difference on this team. They were very important than what people make them out to be. I would have loved for them to gotten a national championship with us, but I don't know exactly what Sion James is looking like as far as his eligibility, nor Malik Brown. I do know Mason Gillis was a 6-year, so he is definitely done. His college career is over. But back to the important player, Cooper Flagg. He's done everything that he could do. He's won ACC Player of the Year, ACC Rookie of the Year, just won the Wooden Award, won the Naismith Award as well. So he's done everything that you could possibly do in college basketball except win a natty. The ultimate dream is to always go to the NBA. Given if this was 3 years ago, 4 years ago before NIL, this would be a no-brainer that Cooper Flag's going to leave. But with the stage of NIL and how much these kids can make, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a scenario where Duke would probably sit here and throw him a couple $15 million and say, hey, come back and play at Duke. Instead of wasting your career with possibly going to the Wizards or I don't oppose the idea of him possibly getting drafted by the Spurs. That would be cool with De'Aaron Fox. It would be Cooper Flag, De'Aaron Fox, and Victor Wembanyama. That would be very entertaining to see. He could probably go to somewhere like the Hornets. You're going to go to a bad team because you're going to be the number one overall pick either way. But I would love to see him come back. Do I see a situation wholeheartedly that he comes back? Absolutely not. The ultimate dream is to go to the NBA. And I don't really see a scenario where Cooper Flag's going to stay at Duke and then just want to run it back. I hope he would want to run it back. Moving on, Kneppel. I think really I could probably see a probability where he could probably want to run it back. He's another NBA guy. They say he's going to be a lottery pick as well. I think Malawak could probably stay too. I think he's got some things he probably needs to work on. Specifically, we saw it earlier. Specifically, not even earlier, just that whole Duke game, that Houston game. He's got to work on his defensively with that small frame. He's got a tall frame, but he's very thin and he gets moved around a lot. He's going to have to get tougher to get into the next stage of his game. But that's something that he can work on in the NBA, and the NBA will help him out with that. So, do I see a possibility he's coming back? No. Proctor is somebody that is interesting. His NBA stock has been consistent these last couple of years. I know his very first year, he came out, a lot of people were expecting him to leave then. But he's actually stayed the last 2 years. So do I see the situation where he could probably stay? Yeah, but if I'm Proctor, I've been flirting around with my lottery pick, the last couple of years. So would I probably go to NBA? Yeah. Somebody who I would love to see back is Caleb Foster. He played exceptionally well in this game. I don't know why John Shire didn't give him more minutes. You could tell his veteran presence was felt early. He was playing rough. That'll be somebody I would love to see back. Again, as long with Sion James, Malik Browns, I would love to get these guys back as well. A lot of the rookies, Slim, I hope we can get him back, but I do see him going into the transfer portal to try and get a bigger role than what he has gotten. And the only recruits that I know we got coming in is the Boozer twins. But as I'm talking with you guys right now, Duke is one of the favorites to win the national championship next year. So ESPN knows something that I don't. I don't get into all the recruiting like that. I just know the Boozer twins just because they're the Boozer twins. Their father played for Duke. So that's the only crew I know that is coming to Duke that is that I know of right now. But ESPN and betting in Vegas knows more than me, obviously, because they have Duke as one of the favorites to win a national championship next year. So it is obvious that we're going to be good. With the new age NIL and the transfer portal and stuff, we don't know what the ACC is going to look like. But I do expect us to probably be better than Carolina next year still. But that's another conversation on another. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. I thank you guys for joining me for. This was supposed to just be a regular video, but it ended up being very long. So I guess it's an iteration of a podcast type video. Yeah, I know y'all wanted my response to the win, to our loss rather. But it was a great season by the Duke Blue Devils, and I'm looking forward to the future. Do I think we have a national championship in the next 10 years? Absolutely. But we gotta keep adapting into NIL. We got to keep getting better at recruiting, which is something John Shire is already good at. But we just got to get better at just winning the games and taking and seizing the moment. I thank you guys for joining me for this video. If you guys do enjoy, please do not hesitate to hit a like button on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Check out my Alpha podcast in the description below. It is on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on YouTube as well. And I got another episode, and it should be out in the next coming days. It's going to be very interesting. Got some things and thoughts on CinemaCon. But Outside of that, check out my other sports videos in the description as well. I will check y'all out, and I will see y'all on the next video. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on the next one. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See ya.